Folks, since we have a hard stop at 7:15, it's now 6:45. I'm going to convene this meeting of the Budget Committee. We won't be able to go into the roll call, but I just want to remind everybody as we go through this discussion, this has gone out for the last couple of years, of the perspective of the Budget Committee as opposed to the operating committees. That we take a starting point of the priorities received from the committee chairs, then the lists are based on several factors across the district, which may or may not be weighted to everyone's preference, but take into consideration community input, urgency, severity of the problem, geography, equity across the district, immediate and or broad community impact, redundancy to other requests, and already budgeted in process. Marty. And a reminder that the borough president says that they want no more than 25 or 30 request items for capital and for expense, although I have been led to believe, and Farah disagrees with me.
Don't mention it.
I am of the belief from conversations and documents from the borough president's office that we should limit our capital to 15 and our expense to 10 in total for CB8. And also reminding you that I've been told offline many times they don't pay attention after 5. So our role here is to compile. Hi, Marty. Pull up a chair. Our role here is to compile and give our opinions on an initial prioritization of each of these two lists, getting them ready for review and discussion by, exec and community at large, and for the board in the board meeting in October, and moreover the public hearing beforehand, before the October meeting, where the community gets to give their comments on the budget priorities, and then we vote as a board, not as an executive committee, on the priorities at the following, the succeeding meeting. Just comment that Julie, Farah, and myself have no more role in this content or priority order than any of you. This is just a first pass that we will be discussing for each of them, and then as a group, we should come up with what we believe to be the priorities. Having said, Julie, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just need a correction in regards to the submissions of capitals and video. The borough president, when the borough president's office submits their budget, they cut it down, yes, but they've never really said for us to do it. As a matter of fact, when we had a presentation with city planning and also in our handbook for community members, it states that we should have 40 capital and 25 expenses.
More than.
Right. Again, if committees have a shorter one, it may make the list, but it has to be said that it's 40 capital and 25 expenses cited by the city planning and also in our handbooks.
Right, but again.
And the borough president never said it. That's just what she chooses to do. She chooses.
Right, but that leaves us to, all right, it's not worth discussing.
She said it and she didn't.
Okay. At any rate, so let's look at the capital list. There are 21 items. Actually, we focused on the first 15, and then there are a couple of other items that weren't part of the original list. But you're welcome to comment and horse trade as you may. So I open the floor to any committee chair that wants to suggest changes in the content or order of the capital budget request list.
I think this is very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was that crossed off or is it?
It is crossed off.
Okay.
Because it's not in our district. We
okay. Talking about 4 cameras on 1 and 2 on number 4. Okay.
Yeah, we weren't sure, remember? We discussed that.
They did a check for me. From my naked eye, it looked fine because it was in the map, but they checked it out, and I trust Audie and Farah, and they checked it out.
Oh, yeah, I think we only have one subway line, not two. Any other comments about the list, other than, Maryland's liking it?
Aren't you pleasantly surprised that I agree with you?
Yeah, you're not even in the top. Oh, we didn't have any, that's why.
I'm on public safety, yeah, we do.
No, I mean, aging, no aging.
Oh, I see.
Are we doing capital or expenses?
Capital.
You'll have some aging this year.
So just the number 7, ELCA, the cultural affairs,
Mhm.
Kingsbridge Historical Society.
Mm-hmm. Could you press the,
I got it. Oh,
it does work. I'm sorry,
Oh, I'm thinking, never mind.
you community center?
Yeah.
Right, right, yeah,
I
yeah.
know the KATC is park property, but I don't know.
Right, but this-
Right,
Yeah,
right,
This is the historical site.
right, the old church. Ah, you started joining us. But it's it's got a similar problem, the roof. Which really scares me because it's a wood all of the underlayment is wood. And it reminds me of, Notre Dame.
I love that church.
I know, but
I used to do
it's such, but I am concerned about that risk. Yes, sir.
So, judging from the agency response we got last year on these cameras, I'm under the impression that, Councilman Dinowitz basically has to check off on these. So I don't know, you might wanna have a conversation with him, because,
We will talk about that, or we did.
okay, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful.
The whole list.
Yeah.
But he's referring to this in particular, though.
Argus cameras.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I have a question about 2 and 8. Do they have to be?
I'm sorry, about what?
Number 2 and 8, do they have to be separate, or could they be combined? Because they're both in model houses, one is a community center.
They're very different.
Okay. so-
One is really structural,
Okay.
and one is, a nice community kind of thing.
Okay.
And, did we ever get a response back from Tony about the community center issue?
Yes, he
He's
would
very much
like-
in positive, okay.
He's in
Good,
favor,
good,
yes.
Good,
I think
okay.
he's even mentioned he's getting, I don't remember if it was for this, Julie, do you remember? Or the other project that's getting an estimate already?
Oh, good.
NYCHA.
But I was the wrong one at the meeting.
Yeah.
I have it on my notes.
Good.
She's,
I'm just going to agree with everyone right now. And
well, there is some flexibility. I mean, frankly, we've got probably somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks to get this out, 2 or 3 weeks. So if something really strikes you in the middle of the night, let me know and I will circulate it.
I
But
have ideas, but I wouldn't know if it goes to capital expense right now, so since this is my very first.
let's talk later. All right, since you're new to the process, and this is really Rosemary's stuff, and it's hard to sort of insert, I mean, unless you think it's really urgent.
No, there,
All right, so let's talk about it. Okay?
yeah.
So what would it be?
So, like, ideas you mean that I have? I mean, these are just ideas, it's not like I have.
Okay.
Why don't we talk later, seriously?
It's a question for the 235th,
Sorry, what number are you looking at?
and 20 and 21.
Uh-huh.
They're all independent projects.
And what's the other one?
20 and 21. Yeah. 236th Street, number 10, is the actual street. It's, nobody's taking responsibility for the lack of curb and street and drain and all that sort of stuff, and this has been an issue for years. But that's
Nothing to do with
On
the
here?
walkway.
What's that?
Weren't there step streets on here? In
Last
June?
year, not this year. There were a lot of step streets.
No step streets at all?
That's,
They did not,
that's what the committee submitted.
TNT did not submit it.
Because they said there was limited stuff to put on there, put in, so we figured we'd just put in the things that we know we can get in there.
DOT actually put in 8, so, they got more than their fair share put in, so.
Yeah.
But they just didn't think that it was going anywhere, because it hasn't gone anywhere.
The 235th Street overpass had repairs made when I had mentioned it to someone. So I was like, you know what, as long as you can walk over without killing yourself, I'm good, so I just.
Yeah, they did the patching a while ago. See, that one,
That was recently.
I think that's why,
Because I went to take the pictures.
right, the feasibility study, 21, is to look at it. Because if they tackle, you know, in any significant way, you know, patching and painting the yellow is one thing. But if they tackle it in any significant way, it's gonna be $5 million.
They just did an overpass where, by PS 75 over at Lawrence Neck, so it was the same exact thing. That's what I thought of when I showed it on TV, but.
So any other, comments or questions? Okay, let's move on to the expense, request.
I do have a question.
Only one, you're only allowed one. One per
I have a
group.
lot of questions.
No.
Thank you.
Of course. Come on, I'm kidding.
Number one, since the libraries now have 6-day service,
Yeah. It was renewed.
you know, scratch that one.
No, 'cause we need stuff here.
So, you call Sylvia.
Maybe I think it's different, you
No, I'm pulling your leg. I know,
You want me to-
it's the first thing I thought of when I heard that it was
Down in the
approved.
list.
All right, we can move it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
continue, it's already in place.
Oh, right. So we can move it down since it's already.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's that,
Where do you recommend we move it to?
Oh, God.
Stick your foot right in it.
Free call.
There's no one to answer your call right now.
David, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So, it says continue the 6-day service. Have you heard any plans to discontinue it, since it's been,
Well, the mayor agreed with the city council only, you know, I think, not quite the 11th hour, but I think it was the last week of June, where he agreed for fiscal 25, which started July 1st. And I think this was written because there was no expectation of 6-day service as of April. So I don't know where to put it at this point.
Because there's only a certain few libraries that have it. It's not in Riverdale. Like they're not open on some of them are open on Saturday and Sunday, but not here.
Well, I'm not sure of that detail, but
Yeah.
I think the original reasoning was it affects the broad spectrum of the community and the children. So, but now, yes,
I just want to say on this one, instead of moving it down, what DCT said was to mark it, continued support. This way, it's still on the list visually, but they're not going to really address it. Just put continued support in case they do take away the funding, at least they know that it's a priority on top.
okay, so you'll call Sylvia and tell them it was Ramdat's idea.
She'll see it.
Put a black eye at the first meeting.
We just put continued support on it.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll put continued support, but it's still gonna be removed from the top.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to have the borough president, for example, put it anywhere near the top.
Right.
So you're gonna note, okay, there you go, good, okay,
God did it.
that's right.
You can write it in there if you want,
Udo did it. Ramdot did it.
Or folded or something or other.
Yeah.
So, other thoughts? Rashida? Okay.
Wait until after my meeting tomorrow. When
Your
the
meeting tomorrow.
new committee.
New committee,
Huh.
okay, and everything's fine.
Again, let's talk before then. Because, yeah, well, before tomorrow night, if we can.
I mean,
Or you could talk.
Well, because again, because this is, you know, that, I mean, unless it's really urgent, it really should be,
no, I mean in general.
Yeah.
After I, initiated into the process of what it's like to be a new.
mhm. And it also could be a starting point for your conversations with your new committee.
For next year,
Right.
yeah.
Or generally about things that, housing wants to take on. Do you have any?
Just to kind of add this, what Ramdot was talking about with the expense, for number 9, the community composting program. I think we just might want to rework it a little bit, because I think part of the idea here was that the NYC compost project, it was calling for restoring funding to the compost project, and then community composting beyond pre-COVID levels to enable compost education, but now we have, you know, citywide composting. So this was, it seems like this would be good as a fashioned, like composting education and support for New York City composting projects. And maybe expanding smart compost bins, but I don't know whether, it seems like maybe the ENS chair should just take another swipe at it, and maybe, just pull it together based on.
Why don't you give him a call and talk to him about continued support?
Sure.
All right?
And for his first meeting, DSNY is coming to talk about the compost program.
That might be perfect.
New initiative. They're offering free bins. Your first bin is free. So everyone will have support to get a bin for composting.
That's the large ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but you need to actually go to these buildings,
Yes.
and teach people how to do this, because it's gonna be a challenge.
Education is so critical in this thing, because it's still got a terrible ick factor about it.
Especially if you take 122 apartments and you put it all together.
And you said you had a bunch of aging things to discuss?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh,
An
no.
expense. Oh, no? Okay.
No, it's,
Okay.
I'm gonna put that together during the year,
Okay. Very good.
but I will call on you.
Can we add for this cycle, the aging?
What?
Well, I mean, again, this is what the executive committee is recommending to the board, so anything can
Because
happen.
you know what a big one was that RSS desperately needs is a new one of those vans that they have?
That's for next fiscal year, isn't it? And these have all been vetted
We were gonna
by the
put it-
committees and.
Can I finish?
Yeah.
They were, I want, pass.
We have another 15 minutes, so,
They asked for this during the last meeting that we had at RSS. They had asked for this, but he didn't put it in. So, remember, they needed a
I'm
new.
trying to remember.
They need a new vehicle. You were there, remember they said they needed a new vehicle?
Yeah, go back and talk with him. Actually, why don't you go?
They said they
talk-
desperately need it.
Okay.
I think that the councilman will ask again, might have done something for
Well,
that.
that's good, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was discussed during the.
Yeah, okay. She'll put it on her to-do list.
Discussing capital and expense.
Yeah. We finished capital already. Do you have comments about expense?
Well, the one thing I was thinking about in terms of capital, I didn't know that we had concluded capital. Wasn't there a note on the cameras that NYPD said they had plenty of cameras and that they were looking for where they were gonna actually position those cameras? Wasn't that part of the city's response to our last?
There are,
Every single year, we ask for cameras, and I could have swore it was a response from NYPD that they had a boatload of cameras and they didn't.
but there are 14 locations identified.
I can answer that.
If that's not what NYPD said, then I'll stand corrected, but from my recollection, they had a wealth of cameras.
Okay,
It's not
it
gonna-
says here, Argus cameras funded via allocations from elected officials within their districts with specific location recommendations should be provided to the local precinct or submission to the Information Technology Bureau once funding is allocated. NYPD will attempt to accommodate specific location requests whenever funding is provided. So basically, it's up, we have to ask the councilman if the funding was
Right.
provided.
But that's not the question she asked. So Margaret, I got a list from Captain Pierce, from the 50th Precinct about, I requested, you know, like you said, we request cameras every year, and I want to know if they're actually put in. So we did get a list. I have to look at it again. I don't know if they got all of it, but they got a significant amount of the cameras we did ask for. Anything that's on this list is, if it was on a previous list, it was just because it wasn't honored the previous year. But they did, I know they did put in a lot of the cameras that we did ask for. I don't think they got all of them. And again, the councilman has something to do with that. How much funds he asked for.
Last year's minutes.
Wait, does that answer your question?
Yeah, so then do we need it as number 4? Since it's been,
Well, these are areas that haven't been filled yet.
Let me get
There are no cameras in these areas, that's why we're asking for them.
Yeah, if you want to compare, Margaret, to the addresses from last year, they're right here.
Oh, no, I'm not on the budget committee, so I'm not gonna.
Okay. So, back to the expenses. Are there any other comments? She's gonna talk to you about definition of one of your items.
Okay.
Are there any other comments about the, expense priorities?
Can I just ask a question about the camera? Do you have a list of all of the locations that, I mean, you said these are the locations that are not covered, right? Is there a list of all of the locations where there are?
Where there are covered, a complete list, I'd have to ask them for a complete list. I'm sure there's a lot of cameras, but that's a good idea. I will do that.
Good idea, yeah.
Speed cameras?
No. The Argus camera. Crime Stopper.
Sorry, because there is a map of the
They got to their limits, they can't put.
You know, actually,
Put it on the speed
They
cameras.
can't put any more than that limit.
I've triggered
A
them
couple of
too.
years ago, we got a list, and then we get an updated list, but what we really have to do is consolidate it, and I don't even want to start piecing it together. I'm just going to ask them how much, where are they? Let us know. We're interested in where they are.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, thank you. I've noticed more activity on around the reservoir. That's including like I saw in broad daylight, what they had.
So, did you have any comments on the, priorities list?
No.
All right, so, we now have a quorum, so,
I was on this last year, yeah.
okay. So, in reverse order, but, freshness of memory. Just a, sort of a voice vote on these lists, because these are our recommendations, but there's no force behind it. It's recommendations to the community, recommendations to the board, both of which to be addressed at the public hearing and the board meeting in October. So are people comfortable with the expense priorities list?
Yes.
Any opposed? I will deem it unanimous with respect to the capital priorities. Any issues at this point? Does the Budget Committee approve of these priorities? Are there any in opposition? I will deem that approved unanimously. Okay, so the thing we skipped over at the beginning of the meeting was the minutes of the previous meeting a year ago for this. You've had an opportunity to look at it. It's just a brief discussion of what happened during the meeting, adjourned at 7:20. We're gonna beat that this time. All in favor?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Any comments?
yes, you left out a guest. raised on your minutes,
Last year?
September, what is this, 2023? Is this 2023?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, 2023 for 2025. Okay.
I just double checked on the video, because I'm like, wait, I was there.
That's who?
So, tell me, add Julie Reyes as a...
Add it right there.
Yes. Members, to be member, okay?
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
With noting that, update or correction, is there anyone in opposition to approving those minutes? I will deem that approved unanimously. Any other questions about, the budget process? All right, do I have a motion for adjournment of the
I'll make one.
budget committee? Okay, and second, okay. Anyone opposed to adjourning the meeting? With 4.5 minutes to spare.
How do you like that?
Son of a gun. Last year, we didn't even get to expend.